Warning! The following video has thoughts about the latest announcements for the global side, and should be noted that both sides will be considered. Keep the negative comments to a minimum. Okay everyone, welcome to another video, and let's talk about the new event and probably what was to be the biggest announcement on the global side to come out of Festa GL. And let me tell you something, this one is something that I have split opinions on. And let me just get something right out of the way right now. I actually don't hate Katy Perry. I actually think that a lot of her music is pretty okay. It's nothing else. It's pretty damn catchy. It might be designed that way by ipso facto, but let me tell you something. I don't hate her. Not as much as some people do. I get it. Her music is a little bit bland and a little bit repetitive, but hey, music is a very subjective thing. And so, yeah, when it comes right down to it, I don't overly hate Katy Perry at all. And with that being said, I'm not going to be on the side that this is a good announcement. So let's get right into it and talk about what this event is first, and then we'll talk about basically my thoughts about this, both as in terms of a Fan Festa announcement, as well as another event on the global side. So the Katy Perry collaboration is definitely happening. It is not a joke. It is not a ruse. It is not even a potential ruse. This is far too serious for anything to be a ruse. I turned off my heater for the making of this video, and I'm realizing that now it is far too cold. So let me turn that back on. Anyway, Katy Perry will be a special guest for the game, basically. It was pretty cool that she came to the event. She answered some questions of some people. I mean, showing up to the event is kind of interesting. The event itself will take place on December 12th. It will be a two-part event. Clearing will yield a 5-star Katy Perry unit that can go to a 7-star. And yeah, she was there. She was at Fan Festa Global, which is pretty surprising. It was definitely not the thing I thought that would be the big announcement that Global had been teasing for weeks. But yes, this is it. Congratulations, FFBE Global Gummy. You guys fucking surprised me on this one. But yeah, she was there. She did some, smiling, handshaking, all the good stuff that a good pop star knows how to do. And yeah, the event is happening. And I'm just going to be honest, let's talk about this event as an actual event. Basically, if you guys were around during the time of, and I wish that I could fix this issue to do with this, it might change if I was big. Anyway, doing this event will basically give you enough of Katy Perry to make a free 7-star, and there's nothing wrong with that. Taking a look at Katy Perry, she seems to do a lot with basically the summon gauge. Now, looking at both of her TMR as well as her super TMR, I gotta say that neither of these seem impressive, especially because they only essentially do anything for the unit itself. HP, MP, and magic on an accessory of only 10%. Evo magic of 20% only to pop star Katy Perry. Well, Katy. I read that as Katy. Anyway, it seems fine. I don't think that it's anything bad, but it also is just really bad. As an accessory, it doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't feel like this is really that great unless you have no accessories, in which case this is okay. There are much better accessories out there, and I don't think this is exciting at all. Even her oh, sorry, that's her Trust Mastery. Her Super Trust Mastery is that, which, given that it looks like they give 4 copies, I'm not surprised that this is what happened. But as a Super Trust Mastery goes, sorry, I thought this was the TMR. This is pathetic as a Super TMR. That's only good for her. And her TMR is Boost Magic and Spirit when equipped with an instrument. This might be kind of interesting for Lunera or Elfim people, depending on the percentages. But yeah, I'm not super excited about anything that comes with this unit per se in terms of TMR or super TMR. Looking at her abilities, you know, this is the thing when it comes to Katy, this Katy Perry unit. And I can't believe I'm going to have to say the words Katy Perry unit many, many times. But when it comes to this Katy Perry unit, it's just not that interesting. It's good for players who don't necessarily have an easy way to summon or to charge the Esper gauge. It's a free 7-star, which helps people if there's ever going to be the total number of 7-star thing that JP has. There's really not much else to talk about. We'll be fighting a Flame Dragon, which is basically a reskin. A lot of this event seems, you know, a little lazy, to be totally honest, but it's kind of looks like free stuff so far. So yeah, I don't really know what else there is to say. If part 2 potentially has something else, then, well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, it's not overly exciting as an event. And let me talk about basically Ariana as well as Katy Perry at this point. So as events, I think they are perfectly fine. And this might annoy some people because it takes resources from the game that they could be potentially using to make different units or whatnot. But let me hypothesize about something else that a different game could do. And so let's take Fate Grand Online, a game that is really successful, and I don't know if it's available elsewhere in the world, but let's pretend it is, because it doesn't really fucking matter. Or hell, let's take Fire Emblem Heroes. Both of these games are, you know, essentially, you know, gachas of some kind. Get character gachas, right? And let's say the next day that they announce a collaboration where they are going to have a famous, I don't know, I really don't want to say basketball player. Yeah, I really don't know sports. But let's say that tomorrow, Fate Grand Online announced that they were going to get LeBron James into the game as a character and a character model. And he's modeled in the style of the game and everything in the same way that Katy Perry is modeled in this game. Is there anything to really complain about? Not overly. For people who don't give a shit, it doesn't really matter. You can sell the unit, you can get rid of the unit, you never have to have anything, you don't have to even partake in the event. And besides, there's been enough global rewards that it doesn't really matter how good or bad this fucking event is, we can all just move on with our lives after. In terms of the unit itself, the free unit doesn't just seem that good, but really, I mean, if you already have a developed team of 7 stars on the global side, this unit's probably not going to make any kind of waves to you. If it's useful, people will keep it around and use it. If not, they won't. Take Ariana. If Ariana was useful for people, then I think it's perfectly fine to have that unit put into the game. Very clearly, this is a marketing move. That's simply it. I don't think that this is really anything else other than maybe one of the producers actually likes her, and that caused the initial, you know, call out for them to make this kind of collaboration. Basically, like, whether or not I do not remember if she's writing a song for Brave Exvius like Ariana did or anything like that, but it doesn't really matter. The Ariana thing as well as this are, if they're useful units for players who are free to play, then great. If not, whatever. But this is not much more than a marketing thing, just trying to get people who are interested in Katy Perry to potentially notice this game and maybe find that they like Brave Exvius and, hey, maybe want to spend some money in the game because they can have some kind of Katy Perry crossover event or Ariana crossover event. So in terms of an announcement for an event, yeah, this is kind of a little disappointment. I can understand that side. But looking at the other side of things, as a marketing thing, this is just business. There's really not much to complain about. In terms of the collaboration, though, I'm not going to defend Katy Perry as being the choice of that this should have been if they did want to do a musician crossover. Let's be honest, there are much better musicians that they could have chose to that have more of a relation to Final Fantasy. I've seen people that comment saying that, well, you know, It doesn't really matter if they have a relationship to this game, but I think that's not entirely fair, nor is that really well thought out. It doesn't, yeah, you can put LeBron James in Fate Grand Online or Fire Emblem Heroes, but that doesn't mean that he should be there. Take some alternative options that would have been much better. How about Utada Hikaru? How about Nobuo Uematsu? How about giving some of the legends like a spot in the game rather than this? I get that this is a marketing thing, and I do understand that from the business aspect that Gummy is just trying to do what Gummy does best, or any business should do best: make fucking money. So that, for me, is perfectly fine. I understand that. What I don't understand is necessarily the selection. The selection, I think there are much better musicians that have more closer relationship to Final Fantasy and would therefore make more logical sense. If they want to do business, fine, but I don't defend that this is the right kind of collaboration for this game. It seems really weird. It doesn't seem like this is the type of thing that's going to get a ton of new people into Brave Exvius, because it seems like different crowds, and it seems like, more than anything, Gummy is just trying to reach out to anyone to get to start playing this game. They're just exploring new markets. And again, I've probably said this word about 1 trillion times already, but it's fine. It's fine, you guys. It's fine. Now let me talk about the other side of this. That this is the big Fan Festa announcement that we've all been teased for weeks about. I have to 100% categorically say that this is just shit. In terms of an announcement that you could have made, Fan Festa people are coming because they both, and more than likely, love Final Fantasy and love the game itself. Therefore, they're hoping for some kind of announcement to do with the actual game. Maybe a big announcement such as the PC version is finally coming. Maybe a super cool collaboration that is to do with Final Fantasy, or maybe an exclusive Final Fantasy unit of some kind. Needless to say, this feels really, really frickin' tone deaf, and taking a look at some of the video that I saw with Shally, I'm not entirely convinced that this wasn't really awkward for Katy Perry, as well as a lot of Fan Festa goers, of just being like, oh, Katy Perry. Because you might like Katy Perry as a singer, as a Brave Exvius player. You might even, like a few of her songs. You might have some of her music. You might have bought some of her music too. But in terms of a Fan Festa where everybody is there for this game specifically, some people have traveled across the world to come see this, it's a really weird thing to all of a sudden bring Katy Perry out on stage, who really doesn't have any relationship to Final Fantasy. This is a by far strange and bizarre thing that feels, as I've said, tone deaf. It feels like there are a lot better places that you could announce this. Now, to be fair, I think bringing her there, as well as letting her answer questions and potentially take some photos with fans, is a really cool idea and is handled much better than some of the shit we've seen in the past, but honestly, this just didn't feel like the place for this to happen. This doesn't feel like this is necessarily for Brave Exvius players. Again, they're here because they love Brave Exvius, not Katy Perry. And for her to just show up randomly, it does feel a little bit odd. I can understand the excitement. I can understand probably the amount of dollars that this kind of collaboration means to potentially both sides. But yeah, it's just a tiny bit weird to me. And so, to sum up my thoughts on it, I understand why this unit is being put into the game from a marketing perspective. I think that there could have been much better choices in terms of it, especially because Utada Hikaru is very well known by even the English community, and would have been a really cool thing to see her get a unit, especially with the Kingdom Hearts collaboration in the near future. Or hell, you can't tell me that a single one of you wouldn't prefer to see Nobuo Uematsu in the game as some really cool unit, rather than someone who doesn't have really any relation. And if she's a big avid Final Fantasy star, I apologize for my lack of knowledge of Katy Perry. But yes, this, more than anything, this just kind of felt tone deaf because this didn't really feel like the place. At the same time, I don't know how else you announce this, but flying out Katy Perry probably wasn't cheap for anybody involved with this. And I don't know, fan Festa goers, tell me what you think. Not specifically people who were watching, specifically people who were at the event, how you felt. Because I could only imagine my confusion and potential dismay. While it's cool Katy Perry is there, it's cool she's taking selfies with people, I just think that this is a really weird place to announce this. And yeah. So the Katy Perry collaboration, it's coming whether you like it or not. Get used to it, get over it, move on with your life, continue saving all of your Lapis resources, money for Kingdom Hearts as well as the Christmas units. And for anybody who is a big fan of Katy Perry who plays Brave Exvius, congratulations, looks like you'll get a cool unit, potentially at least 2 times because this is supposed to be a multi-stage event. I don't hate it, it's hard to hate it. Really hate it. I'm just too tired to really be that passionate about feeling like this doesn't belong there. But at the same time, reasonably, I don't think it's necessarily unreasonable to say that this just probably wasn't the best choice to do. So that's my opinions on it. Feel free to comment below, tell me how much you hate me, tell me how much you want to dislike this video and see that dislike bar go down. I'm going to ignore it and have a wonderful holidays. Because you know what? Fan Festa rewards were absolutely awesome for Global Side. Anyway, that's all for now. See you next time.